My history with this game is pretty odd. Why I bought the Japanese copy? Well, apart from the fact that I prefer collecting retro Japanese games like a weeb, they're cheaper, come on, they also look cooler to me. Hot take? Maybe. They don't have end labels though, which is kind of a shame. I wanted this version because I wanted to get into speedrunning it. Now, you might be wondering what category I was interested in learning. There's a bunch. No, definitely not 100%. Not warpless, not warps, no, not magical journey. One of the most unpopular categories, no ace or arbitrary code execution. Why I was interested in this one? The length of it intrigued me. The top runs were just under half an hour and the glitches looked pretty interesting to me and I want to learn them. But they were only possible on the 1.0 Japanese version. Buying this game and getting the 1.0 version was kind of a gamble, but luckily I hit the jackpot. The card needs to have the numbers 07 on the back of it. People on websites like Amazon don't list such specific information about their games. Of course you could ask the seller for more info, but no. I'm not going to do that. So, the no ace category uses a glitch called null egg. You have to do some weird stuff in 2-2, then you have an egg slot you can replace with any item. Doing this setup can be kind of annoying, and the main reason why I never ran this game is because even if you slightly mess this up, the game will likely crash, then you have to play the first 20-ish minutes over again. If you do it successfully, you then go back to 1-8 and replace the egg with the key you get at the end of the boss. This key can allow you to beat any stage pretty much instantly. Another reason why I never ran this category is because the key item can easily be replaced by another enemy in the stages you go in. I was never quite sure how to avoid this. You then do some save corruption stuff and end up in World 6 and, yeah, precise save corruption. Yet another reason why I never ran it. There is a category called Magical Journey where you just use the key to get through the rest of the levels rather than doing the save corruption stuff, but there is quite a bit more you need to learn in that one in order to make sure you don't get the key item replaced. The save corruption can wipe all the files on your cart and you need to play frame perfectly in order to get the level you want in World 6. It's not very lenient. At all. The level you'd ideally want is the final castle, of course, but if you don't get it, there are some other things you can do to unlock it, which lose a bit of time, but it's not the end of the world for a category like this. You then beat the castle and beat the game. Very weird speedrun category, I'm aware. I'm pretty sure I only beat the game with this method once or twice. It can be pretty difficult. Now, despite me owning this game for 3 long years, as mentioned, I've yet to beat it legitimately until now. All my knowledge of the game is from World 1 and the first 2 levels of World 2 from speedrunning the game. Or at least trying to speedrun the game. That's it. I'm pretty sure I got to World 5 a couple years ago in a casual file, but I was too lazy to finish the game. I finally beat it now, of course, and I'm ready to talk about it. Yoshi's Island initially released on August 5th, 1995, and then released worldwide in early October. Outside of Japan, the game was referred to as Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. The Super Mario World 2 subtitle was simply added to sell the game and nothing more. I absolutely hate this subtitle. The only similarity this game has to Super Mario World is the fact that it's a 2D platformer and Mario's in it. Well, Baby Mario. This game does not need that title. The game sold 4 million copies, and while it didn't do nearly as well as Super Mario World, which sold 20 million, I wonder why they put the subtitle, it still did pretty good. 4 million is more games than I've ever sold. Typically in the generations like the SNES and N64 era, games that came out late in the console's lifespan were usually the most high quality because the devs understood more about the hardware and stuff. Makes perfect sense to me. Yoshi's Island is no exception to this rule. Sometimes there can be some negatives to this, like lag, but for the most part, it isn't a big deal. Also, graphical areas like the HUD going under the sprites, this is kind of annoying. Not a big deal though. I think we can all agree this game has some awesome graphics and visuals for the hardware it was on. I know this is a point literally everyone mentions about the game, but come on, you gotta. I love how everything just looks painted. It could probably even pass as a DS game. No, I did not mean literally. Something about the change about the art style though would be to have colored lines in the sprites rather than black. I feel like this would match the backgrounds more. Maybe black lines were done because of hardware limitations, but I don't know, it's not a huge deal, just a small thing I changed. One of the stages I love is the final one before the World 6 castle. It looks like a Van Gogh painting, it's pretty neat. The sprite animations can be really cool and complex. This game utilizes the SuperFX chip to add some cool basic 3D effects. These are mainly present in the castles. As mentioned, these effects are very basic, but they're still pretty cool to see on a 2D game in the Super Nintendo. Sometimes the game does some weird perspective stuff. It can be kind of confusing, but it's still a bit cool to see how they execute it. My copy is in Japanese, I can't read any of the text. Yeah, this was kind of unfortunate. I probably missed some help along the way because of this, but oh well, I was still able to make it through the game. Here's the story. Magic Koopa attacks a stork delivering the baby Mario brothers, because, you know, that's where babies come from. They successfully kidnap baby Luigi, but baby Mario falls out of the sky and onto Yoshi. Mario is then passed on different colored Yoshis throughout 48 levels and 6 worlds. The controls in this game are very slick. It really feels like I have a lot more control over the character than in a game like Super Mario World. I wouldn't be able to explain it. You just gotta play the game for yourself to know what I mean. The music in this game is very iconic and memorable. Not a ton of tracks though, a lot of them just repeat in levels where you wouldn't even expect them to play. There are a bunch of weird mechanics in this game. Besides the occasional unusual power-ups such as the helicopter, Yoshi can jump, ground pound, flutter jump, throw eggs, you swallow enemies and they turn into eggs. You can have up to 6 at a time. These are very useful for killing enemies. and well, you need them to complete the game because there's obstacles that require you to use them. Collecting eggs is not hard. Sometimes you're just given them with boxes or flowers, but other than that, you can easily just eat most enemies you run into. Yoshi's Flutter Jump is kind of overpowered. You can't ascend with it, but you can stay level. The timing can be a bit precise though. In the speedruns of the game, it is heavily abused to skip sections like this area in 5-4. If you Flutter Jump off of an enemy, you gain even more height than you would from a normal jump. This also can be abused. When you get hit, you don't die unless you touch a certain surface. Baby Mario will fall off Yoshi's back though, and you need to get him back. Let's just say he's kinda annoying. Yeah, good game design here, in a way. He's so annoying that it makes the player feel like snatching him back is a top priority. You have up to 10 seconds to get him back, and this number can be increased all the way up to 30 by entering checkpoints and collecting star bits. When you lose him, the number will go down each second, and after getting him back, it will only restore up to 10. So no, don't think you're getting 30 seconds back after losing Baby Mario for 20. I did not 100% this game, and I don't think I ever will. In order to 100% the game, not only do you need to collect everything, but the counter needs to be at 30 by the end of the level. You can't get hit at all. Well, I guess you could get hit and collect star bits, but come on, you need to find those. Nobody has time for that. Basically, to sum up what I'm saying, 100% is not my thing for this game. For most games actually, unless there's some sort of special ending or something. There are bonus stages in this game, but that just doesn't cut it for me considering what you have to do to unlock them. Every world is significantly different in this game, and I love it. World 1 has some typical basic grass levels. World 2 is a bit similar to World 1, but still feels much different. World 3 has some jungle levels. World 4 has this nice sunset vibe. World 5... it's like the icy snow levels in video games, but it's hard, I don't like World 5. And World 6 brings you to the typical scary final lava stages and seemingly brings you to an entirely different area, which is spooky. Or at least I believe is a different area, I don't know. When you reset the game, the scary world will show up on the title screen too. There's so much variety to the enemies, the environments, everything just pops and feels different. Every boss is really creative too. I love when you go into the frog's mouth and Yoshi comes out traumatized. Also this part where it's like Mario Galaxy, but in 1995. Yeah, kinda cool. Yoshi can also trip out. Trippy. This game does a lot right. It's visually appealing, has good music, although not a lot, pushes the hardware to the absolute limit, has really smooth controls. It also does a few things wrong though, in my opinion. I have to say that because people are going to be mad at my opinion either way, but what can I do? As mentioned, 100% sucks. Arguing over that having the Super Mario World 2 subtitle makes no sense, it's completely misleading. This game is not Super Mario World 2, I don't know how many times I can say it. This is just Yoshi's Island. This is a completely separate game. I shouldn't even have went over... I can't believe I'm gonna call it this, but Super Mario World 1, just to prove a point. It's stupid. It's not Super Mario World 1, by the way. I can't believe I said that. It's Mario World. This game starts off very easy. The fact that the controls are very solid does help with this, but it's still easy. World 1 is a complete breeze. Later on, though, the game feels like it can't decide whether or not it's a puzzle game or a platformer. Some of these levels, I spent forever trying to figure out what to do. While some may like this, it's just not my thing. I know this is a common thing in Yoshi games, but I just don't like it. The levels which are the worst with this are the castles. I hate them so much. The castles are definitely the longest levels in the entire game, and honestly, the only memorable things about them are the bosses. Other than that, they drag out way too long and are kinda boring. I can't stress this enough. I hate playing a game that's supposed to be a platformer, but the challenge is based off me trying to figure out how to proceed rather than doing a difficult jump or something. That's not platforming. World 5 is like the special world of this game. It's definitely the hardest part and actually has real platforming challenge rather than solving puzzles. I still don't like it though. I was kind of intimidated to go into World 6, but it really is not that bad. It's not nearly as bad as World 5. So, my least favorite areas in this game are the castles, the underground sections. Whenever I enter the pipe and heard the music play, I just got annoyed. Yeah, shut up. I don't know why, I just didn't like these areas. And of course, the auto-scrollers. Hey, Nintendo. Auto-scrollers aren't fun. Fucking hate auto-scrollers, okay? It's not fun at all. Auto-scrollers are a combination between stressful and boring. I can't explain it. This game is still pretty awesome though, but sometimes I really do feel like it was made simply to show off the wacky stuff the SNES is capable of. You will not believe this. A Mario-based game, get this, but with a fake final boss. Yeah, at the end you fight Baby Bowser, not to be confused with Bowser Jr. This is the actual Bowser, but as a baby. This game takes place at the beginning of the Mario timeline. After you beat the real phase, the stork is finally able to deliver Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. Because yeah, that's how babies work. There it is, Yoshi's Island. So what I'm gonna say about this game is that if you like platformers and solving puzzles, this is the perfect game for you. I personally am not into puzzle stuff. It's just not my vibe, bro. That was f***ing horrible. I'll still probably go over more Yoshi games though, because for the most part, the cool platforming stuff in the games does outweigh the boring puzzles, and plus they look awesome. A game I really want to go over one day is Woolly World. It just looks so pretty to me. It's one of the best looking games in my opinion. It looks better than Crafted World, sorry. I might just emulate it though, because I'm too tired to dust off and plug in my Wii U, man. That thing is, collecting dust. Solid game though. As mentioned, I was very impressed at some of the things this outdated piece of hardware could pull off. To be 100% honest though, I still prefer Super Mario World. Back-to-back platforming, that's the kind of game I like. But hey, it's all preference, and if you prefer Yoshi's Island, I can fully understand why.
Apparently, they have microphones and epic gaming chairs in hell.